If you're a man who gives everything, your time, your loyalty, your energy, to a woman and still ends up confused, frustrated, or feeling discarded, this message is for you. It's not just about the situation, it's about understanding yourself. There's a reason you've been losing sleep, a reason that never seems to make sense, and most people haven't told you because they don't want you to know. This isn't about bitterness, it's about clarity. Women don't measure what you do for them, they notice how you make them feel. And most men completely miss this. They give, they sacrifice, they try harder. But effort alone doesn't ignite attraction. Presence does. Loyalty doesn't make her stay. Polarity does. Consistency doesn't keep her coming. Mystery does. That's why this video is different, even risky. Once you understand what naturally draws her in and what quietly pushes her away, you'll stop being manipulated. You'll stop being the fallback option. You'll stop asking, what did I do wrong? We're about to explore female psychology in a way few dare to explain. What she truly desires, what she keeps to herself, and most importantly, how you can take control of the dynamic on your terms. Before we dive in, hit subscribe if you're done riding the emotional roller coaster and want to start living by your own rules. For those seeking deeper, unfiltered insights, becoming a member will give you access to what women really think when no one's watching. Now let's break down the 10 things she genuinely wants from you. Once you know them, you'll never play her game again. 1. She never chooses the man who chooses her. She never chooses the man who chooses her. Let's be honest here. No woman wakes up thinking, I want a man who desperately wants me. That sounds romantic on paper, but in reality, that kind of man is invisible to her. She might thank him. She might even keep him around. But choose him? Never. Here's the hard truth most men don't want to hear. If you put her on a pedestal, she looks down on you. You think choosing her makes her feel secure, valued, seen. But what it actually does is strip you of your edge. It tells her you've already decided she's the prize, and now she has nothing to chase. No fire, no thrill, no mystery. And without mystery, there's no attraction. When you choose her first, she starts wondering, why was it so easy? What's wrong with this guy that he's already sure about me? Does he not have better options? That's where respect begins to fade, because in her psychology, desire flows where challenge exists. It's not that she wants you to treat her poorly, that's not it. She just doesn't want you to fold before she's earned it. She wants to sense that your attention is rare, that your time is earned, that you have standards, and that she might not even meet them. When you chase a woman too early, you're giving away the most powerful thing you have, your uncertainty. Uncertainty in the hands of a man who is grounded, focused, and mission-driven is magnetic. It tells her, I see you, but I'm watching how you move. I like what I see, but I don't need it. I'm not here to be chosen. I'm here to evaluate. You flip the script. Instead of her wondering if you'll choose her, now she's wondering if she's good enough to win your full attention. That's when attraction starts to build. That's when she leans in. That's when she starts thinking about you when you're not around. Because here's what no one tells you. Women fall for the man who makes them feel uncertain, but safe. It's not about games, it's about calibration. A man who chooses too soon communicates neediness. A man who chooses too late communicates disinterest. But a man who holds his ground, waits, watches, and lets her reveal herself first, earns both her desire and her respect. So what do you do instead? You let her show interest before you fully invest. You match her energy, not exceed it. You don't declare love when you barely know her. You don't plan your life around someone who hasn't earned a seat in it. Be courteous, be clear, be strong. But don't choose too early. Don't offer your loyalty to someone who hasn't proven their loyalty to your peace. Remember this, the man who chooses himself first is the one she can't stop thinking about. Because when you choose yourself, your path, your mission, your values, you show her that you're not desperate for approval. You're not chasing affection. You're building a life worth sharing. And if she wants to be part of that, great. If not, you're still good. Let her prove that she deserves to be chosen. And when she does, then you decide. Comment prompt. Drop this in the comments if it hit you. I choose myself first. 2. Her respect starts where your neediness ends. Let's get something straight. No matter how good your intentions are, no matter how deeply you care, the moment she senses that you need her more than you choose her, you've already lost something far more valuable than attraction: her respect. Respect isn't given because you showed up. It's not granted because you did all the right things. It begins the moment she feels she can lean on your presence without carrying your insecurities. And here's the real kicker. Neediness isn't about how much you talk or text. It's the energy underneath it. The energy that says, I need you to like me so I can like myself. It's when you're not centered in who you are, so you make her the compass for your self-worth. That's a dangerous game, because the more you orbit around her moods, the less she sees you as the man who can ground her. You might think you're being attentive, but if your attention comes from anxiety, it doesn't feel like love. It feels like pressure. And pressure doesn't create intimacy. It makes people pull away. She wants to feel your stability, your centeredness, your ability to stand firm in your truth without collapsing every time she withdraws a little warmth. When you let go of chasing validation, something shifts. You start showing up from fullness, not emptiness. You start choosing her, not clinging to her, and she feels the difference. It doesn't need to be said. It radiates in your tone, your eyes, your silence. That's when her energy changes. That's when she starts leaning in. The funny thing is, the less you need her to validate you, the more she wants to, because you've become a man whose attention feels earned, not given away cheaply. Now, if any of this hits close to home, if you've ever bent over backward, lost sleep trying to decode her texts, or felt that gut-sinking feeling when you're doing everything and still getting less, you're not alone. But here's your turning point. You don't become magnetic by chasing her emotions. You become magnetic by mastering your own. And when you do, she notices. Even if she never says a word, she feels it. And that feeling, that quiet shift in her gaze, that new tone in her voice when she speaks to you, that's called respect. And it's earned by how you hold your center when everything around you tries to pull you out of it. If you've ever had to reclaim your power, if you know what it's like to stop overgiving and start standing tall, drop this in the comments. I lead. I don't chase. You're not here for surface-level advice. You're here because you're done playing small. So stay right where you are. We're not done yet. 3. If you don't lead, she'll replace you. If you don't lead, she'll replace you. There's a truth most men don't want to hear. If you don't lead the energy of the relationship, she will. And the moment she does, she starts looking around for someone else to take that role. It doesn't matter how loving you are, how supportive, how loyal. If she senses that she's steering the emotional direction of the relationship, something inside her starts to dry up. Attraction fades, respect weakens, desire gets confused with responsibility, and you get quietly filed away into the nice but replaceable category. Now let's be clear. Leadership in a relationship isn't about control. It's not about barking orders or calling all the shots. It's about vision, direction, initiative. It's about being a man who knows where he's going and is strong enough to bring her with him, not drag her, not plead with her, but inspire her to want to come along. Women don't want to carry the emotional weight of the dynamic. They might try to for a while, especially if they care. They'll set the dates, fix the problems, manage the tone of every conversation, but deep down, that exhausts them. They start resenting it. And that resentment quietly grows into disinterest. Here's the thing. She wants to feel your leadership, not be told about it. It shows up in small ways, like when you take initiative without asking for credit, when you're decisive without being rigid, when you hold space in conflict without emotionally flinching, when your energy says, "I've got this." Even if you never say a word, she can feel that. And when she does, she relaxes. She becomes softer, more playful, more trusting, not because she's submissive, but because she finally feels safe. Most guys get this backward. They think being accommodating is being a good partner. But there's a fine line between being flexible and being forgettable. If you're always waiting for her to decide what she wants, if you're constantly checking in on how she feels before expressing your own, if you've made your life revolve around her emotional weather, you're not leading, you're following. And that energy isn't just unsexy, it's unsustainable. Women are intuitive. They know when they become the pilot in a relationship, and once they realize they're flying the plane solo, they start scanning for a co-pilot who knows how to fly. Leadership means you're not afraid to go first. It means you're willing to speak your truth, make bold decisions, and take responsibility for the direction things are heading, even when it's uncomfortable. And if you're thinking, well, I don't want to be too assertive and scare her off, let me tell you something. If your leadership scares her, she was never meant to follow you in the first place. The right woman won't be threatened by your strength. She'll be drawn to it because it speaks to something ancient in her. It tells her this man won't fold when life gets hard, and that is rare. That is attractive. So ask yourself, are you leading your relationship or are you being led by it? Be honest, because you can't course correct if you're not clear on where you are. And if you've been too passive, too accommodating, too soft, trying to keep things smooth, don't beat yourself up. Just start showing up differently. From this moment on, speak less with words and more with direction. Let your actions say, "I've got this." Let your presence become the quiet authority in the room and watch what happens. Now I'm curious, do you know it's time to stop waiting for approval and start leading your own story? Tell me in the comments. I take the lead. There's power in declaring who you've decided to become. Let's see how many of us are ready to rise. Her seduction is strategy, not surrender. Let's get something straight right now. When a woman seduces you, it's not always about desire. It's not always about passion. In fact, many times it's not even about you. Her seduction, especially when it feels too perfect, too timely, too polished, can be a calculated move, a strategy, not a surrender. This is where most men get it wrong. You think, she finally opened up, she finally wants me, she's showing affection, attention, and intimacy. And naturally, you lean in, you start giving more, you drop your guard. But in that exact moment when you're most vulnerable is often when you're being played the hardest. You need to understand, not all seduction comes from a place of emotional connection. Sometimes it comes from control, influence, even revenge. Maybe she wants something from you. Maybe she wants to neutralize your anger, avoid accountability, or pull you back into a situation that serves her, not you. Real seduction, the kind that comes from surrender, is rare. It's slow. It's emotionally grounded. But strategic seduction, that's about timing. It appears when you've pulled away, when you've stood your ground, when she feels she's losing you. That's when the lingerie comes out. That's when the sweet texts arrive, not because she suddenly discovered her love for you, but because she's trying to regain power. Here's the test. Look at what happens after the seduction. Does the warmth last, or does it vanish once you give in again? If her affection fades the moment you stop resisting, that wasn't desire. It was bait. See, emotional manipulation doesn't always look like arguments or guilt trips. Sometimes it looks like intimacy. Sometimes it looks like surrender. But underneath, it's a reset button, a way for her to re-establish control without saying a word. So what can you do about this? You observe, You delay your response, you don't rush in, you let her actions play out over time. If she truly wants you, if it's real, her energy will stay consistent, her affection won't be conditional. But if she disappears the moment she gets your attention back, you'll know exactly what game was being played. You also have to detach from the instinct to always respond with validation. Strategic seduction feeds on that. It depends on your need for acceptance. So you stay grounded. You stay focused on your purpose. You let her come to you, and more importantly, you let her prove it's genuine. This doesn't mean becoming cold. It means becoming clear. Clear on your value, clear on your standards, clear on what kind of woman deserves access to your emotional and physical space. Because here's the truth. Real surrender from a woman isn't loud. It's not flashy. It doesn't need makeup, candles, or the perfect playlist. It's soft, subtle, and rooted in safety and respect. If she feels safe with your strength, she'll open naturally. If she feels the need to seduce you, to control you, it means she's not feeling secure. She's feeling threatened by your independence. Don't get caught in the trap. Don't mistake performance for passion. When seduction is strategy, it's about her needs, not the relationship. And the moment you trade your power for the illusion of intimacy, you lose more than control. You lose her respect. So now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and claim it in 3 words. No more games. Say it loud, say it proud. Let the world know you're no longer falling for surface-level seduction. And if you're still watching and this message hits home, this is your moment to take it deeper. Hit that subscribe button. Join the members circle. Because here we don't play games, we break patterns, and we rebuild from strength. Ready to keep going? Good, because this is where it starts getting even more real. The less you react, the more she obsesses. Let's talk about silence and how powerful it really is. In today's dating world, where everything is instant replies, instant gratification, instant drama, your ability to not react is your biggest advantage, especially with women who are used to pulling emotional strings. When she sends that text designed to provoke or drops a passive-aggressive comment meant to bait you, most guys bite. Most guys explain, justify, defend, they react. But the moment you don't, the moment you choose calm over chaos, that's when the shift happens. That's when she starts paying attention. Why? Because you're not doing what 99% of men do. You're not giving her that dopamine hit of control. Women are emotionally intuitive. They know how to read tone, timing, energy. So when you stop reacting, when you stop chasing, when you stop scrambling to fix every little shift in her mood, what you're doing is disrupting the script. And when you disrupt the script, you become unpredictable. That unpredictability creates curiosity. Curiosity turns into obsession. Let me be clear. This isn't about playing games. It's not about being manipulative. It's about regulating yourself. It's about not letting her mood dictate your mindset. Because the truth is, the man who can stay grounded when emotions are high is the man who commands the most respect. Think about it. When you're always reacting, always trying to fix, to explain, to prove, you're not standing in your masculine frame. You're orbiting hers. And once she senses that, once she feels she has the power to push your buttons, that's when the dynamic shifts, not in your favor. But when you're centered, when you take a breath before you speak, when you choose stillness instead of spiraling, now you are the one setting the tone. And that tone says, I'm not here to chase validation. I'm here to lead. You want her to feel you, not through your reactions, but through your presence, your steadiness. That's what truly penetrates a woman's emotional wall, because whether she admits it or not, she craves the man who can't be easily rattled, the man who listens, observes, and speaks only when it matters. Now here's what happens when you live like this. She starts wondering. She rereads the messages. She replays the conversation in her mind. She starts filling in the blanks with imagination, and that imagination, it's more powerful than any explanation you could have given. The less predictable you are, the more magnetic you become. You're no longer feeding the cycle, you're letting her sit with her own emotions, and in that space, she begins to realize something. You're not emotionally available in the way that lets her control you, but you are emotionally aware in the way that makes her respect you, and respect always comes before desire. Always. This doesn't mean you go cold, it means you go calm. Calm is not the absence of emotion, it's the mastery of it. You're still passionate, still caring, still tuned in, but you're selective. And that selectiveness makes you rare. Remember this, the man who moves the least emotionally often moves the most powerfully. And once she senses that you won't jump at every mood swing or respond to every bait, she starts chasing something far deeper than attention. She starts chasing understanding. Understanding you, your mind, your standards, your silence. So now I want you to make this real. Type it in the comments right now. Still focused, unshaken. Lock it in, let it echo. Let her energy adapt to yours, not the other way around. You're not here to react. You're here to lead. Stay grounded, stay unmoved, stay powerful. Because when the dust settles, she won't remember what you said in the heat of the moment. She'll remember how unbothered you were when everything around you begged for a reaction. And that, my friend, that's when you truly become unforgettable. She hides behind space when she's testing power. Let's not sugarcoat it. When a woman says, "I just need some space," what she really means isn't always about peace, clarity, or self-reflection. Sometimes, yes, but often it's a test, a power move, a quiet strategy to see where you stand when she pulls back. And most men fail it instantly. Here's what you need to understand. Space isn't the problem. The timing and tone behind it is what matters. Did she suddenly need space right after you stood your ground? Right after you stopped overgiving? Or maybe right after she sensed you weren't as available emotionally as before? If so, that space isn't about her needing air. It's about her watching you from a distance, observing if you crumble, chase, or cling. See, a woman who's unsure of her own feelings will often create emotional distance as a defense mechanism. It lets her feel in control. It lets her reframe the dynamic without having to admit she's uncomfortable with your strength. Because the moment you stop orbiting her mood and start moving with your own purpose, she feels it. And that shift? It scares her. So what does she do? She withdraws. She says she needs time to think, or that she feels overwhelmed or confused. And what most men do next is exactly what she expects. They panic. They write long texts trying to clarify everything. They beg for a conversation. They give even more emotional energy, proving once again that she's the center of his gravity. But here's the truth. She doesn't want you to realize that when she says space, she's not walking away. She's watching. She's checking if you'll stay centered or if you'll spin out. She wants to see if your confidence is real or just a mask that cracks under emotional pressure. This is where you separate yourself from the crowd. You give her space, but you don't wait in it. You don't fill the silence with apologies or emotional confessions. You don't negotiate your worth through paragraphs. You let her sit with the distance she created. You let her feel the absence of your attention. Because when a woman feels your absence more than she expected, she starts questioning the power she thought she had. This is not about being cold. It's about being composed. You don't ghost, you don't punish, but you don't over-explain either. You respect her need for space, but you don't give her the satisfaction of seeing you spiral over it. Here's the deeper truth. Women test power, not love. And when she pulls away, she's testing the power you have over yourself. Can you stay in your frame? Can you stay focused on your mission? Can you resist the urge to validate her every emotion just to feel close again? If the answer is yes, she starts to feel something she wasn't expecting. Intrigue, because now she's the one wondering. Now she's the one realizing that her usual moves don't work on you the way they did on others. This flips the dynamic. And the best part, you didn't do it by manipulating. You did it by mastering yourself. So next time you hear, "I just need some space," take a breath. Don't resist it. Don't rush to fix it. Just nod internally and return to your path. Let her feel your emotional independence. Let her wonder what she just walked away from. And when she comes back, and she won't see the same man she left. She'll see the man who didn't break when she tested the limits. The man who didn't flinch when she withdrew. The man who didn't trade his dignity for her temporary affection. Let her come back to that man. Now, if this hits something real for you, take 10 seconds right now and drop this in the comments. I stay in my power, not because you need to prove anything to her, but because it reminds you who you are and who you don't need to become just to keep someone close. The space she asked for, let her have it, but don't let her assume that space guarantees your patience, your attention, or your energy. Those are earned, never assumed. Number 7, her intimacy is earned, not given. Let's get something straight. Just because you're present in a woman's life doesn't mean you're entitled to her intimacy. And I'm not just talking about physical closeness. I'm talking about her real self, her trust, her emotional depth, the side of her that isn't filtered, controlled, or curated. That part is earned. Too many men make the mistake of thinking that being nice, showing up, paying the bills, or saying all the right things is the golden ticket. But women aren't wired that way. She doesn't open up just because you're available. She opens up when she feels you've earned the right to access the parts of her that are real, raw, and unpolished. Think about it. Women live in a world constantly telling them to guard their softness, to protect their vulnerability. Every social cue, every past disappointment, every guy who made promises and disappeared, all of those add layers. Layers you don't peel back with charm alone. So what does earn intimacy? Presence, yes, but not just being physically there. I'm talking about mental and emotional presence, the kind that doesn't flinch when she's not being perfect, the kind that doesn't react when she tests boundaries, the kind that stays grounded when she's unsure of herself. That's rare, that's power, and that's what she's secretly scanning for. Here's the part most men miss. She doesn't even know she's testing you. Sometimes it's instinctual. A woman will challenge your emotional balance, not to destroy you, but to measure you, to see what kind of man she's really dealing with beneath the surface. If you crack every time she pulls away, gets moody, or doesn't give immediate validation, she knows you are performing, not leading. And if you're performing, you're replaceable. But if you're grounded, if you're calm in chaos, she starts to feel safe. And when a woman feels safe, she starts to open. That's when intimacy becomes something more than just a moment. It becomes connection, not one-sided, not performance-based, but real. And no, this doesn't mean you have to tolerate toxic behavior just to prove yourself. Earning her intimacy isn't about being her emotional punching bag. It's about not chasing, about having the backbone to hold your boundaries while still being emotionally aware. Let me give it to you straight. Real intimacy from a woman isn't loud. It doesn't come with fireworks and a big announcement. It shows up quietly, in how she looks at you differently, in how she lets down her guard, in how her tone softens when she's no longer performing femininity, but actually feeling it with you. But that won't happen if you're still trying to shortcut your way in. It won't happen if you think gifts, compliments, or grand gestures are enough to crack the code. That might work short-term, but she'll sense it. She'll feel when it's not grounded. And when she senses performance instead of presence, she retreats every time. You want real intimacy? Earn it with consistency, not convenience. Show her that who you are on day 1 is who you are on day 100. Not because you're trying to impress her, but because you don't need to shift who you are just to get closer. And most importantly, don't beg for it. Intimacy, when you chase, it runs. When you stand still in strength, it approaches. The more you need it, the less she feels like giving it. But the more you respect it as something she chooses to share, the more powerful it becomes when it arrives. So remember this. Her intimacy is not a reward for your effort. It's a response to your energy. You are the frame. She is the expression within it. If you hold strong, she relaxes. If you lead with depth, she responds with hers. And if she doesn't, if she never reaches beyond the surface, that tells you everything you need to know without having to beg for clarity. Now, if you're the kind of man who earns, not demands intimacy, drop this in the comments. I don't chase depth, I attract it. Because a man who understands that truth doesn't just connect, he creates a space where connection chooses him. And trust me, that's where the real game begins. Number 8, she wants to submit, but only to a man she respects. Let's cut through the noise. Submission isn't weakness. And when we talk about a woman submitting, we're not talking about control. We're talking about trust, safety, and energy. Here's the real. Most modern women don't want to lead in the relationship. That's not their natural mode when they're with a man who's in his grounded masculine energy. But they'll step into that masculine role if they have to. If you're too passive, too unsure, too inconsistent. See, she wants to relax. She wants to feel soft. She wants to lean back and let someone else lead the way, but only if she respects the one holding the wheel. Respect isn't about being feared. It's not about being loud. It's not about puffing your chest and demanding authority. It's the quiet strength that says, I know who I am. I don't need to prove it. I walk with clarity, not confusion. That's the kind of presence she craves, because it creates space for her to stop performing. When a man steps into that frame of certainty, a woman stops second-guessing. She stops trying to overcompensate. She stops needing to control everything because finally, someone else is holding it down. But here's the trap most men fall into. They try to earn her submission by pleasing her. That's not how this works. You don't get respect by being agreeable. You don't inspire surrender by asking for permission every step of the way. That doesn't make her feel safe. That makes her feel like she's in charge. And the truth is, she doesn't want that responsibility in a romantic dynamic. She wants to choose to follow. And that choice only happens when your leadership is steady, not loud. When your direction is firm, not forceful. So how do you embody that? You lead without apology. You communicate with clarity. You set boundaries and keep them. You live by your mission, not her mood. And you don't fold just to keep her comfortable. When you stand in that space, she feels something rare in today's world. A man she doesn't have to guide, fix, or mold. She can finally exhale. And that exhale is everything. It's what allows her to sink deeper into her feminine, to open up, to trust, to express. Not because you demanded it, but because you created the container for it to unfold naturally. That's what real masculine energy does. It creates a container, and women in their truest essence fill it with color, softness, beauty, and feeling. But don't get it twisted. If you're inconsistent, indecisive, or emotional in a way that makes her feel like she has to be the strong one all the time, she'll never submit. She might stick around out of obligation or habit, but deep down, she'll never relax into that dynamic. And when a woman can't relax, she eventually resents. Submission isn't about dominance, it's about trusting your leadership. And that only happens when your actions match your words, your emotions are stable, and your vision doesn't shift depending on her validation. So ask yourself, are you leading or are you reacting? Are you holding the frame or bending with every shift in her mood? Because when she sees that you can hold steady, even when she tests, even when she pulls back, even when she challenges you, that's when her feminine opens up, not out of obligation, not out of fear, but out of desire. And that's when something powerful happens. She starts bringing you her softness, her loyalty, her full attention, not because you asked for it, but because you earned it. If you're the kind of man who knows he doesn't need to demand respect because he commands it just by how he moves, drop this in the comments. I lead. She follows by choice. Because when a woman submits to a man she respects, it's not a power struggle, It's a dance. And a man who understands that doesn't just attract her body, he awakens her soul. Number 9, if you're easy to predict, you're easy to replace. Let's talk real for a second. Predictability sounds like a virtue, right? Be reliable, be consistent, be stable. And sure, those things matter when it comes to your values, your character, your integrity. But when it comes to attraction, when it comes to that spark that keeps her coming back, leaning in, wondering what's next, predictability kills the fire. It's a quiet killer. You don't even notice it creeping in. At first, she loves how dependable you are. She says it's comforting. She says it's rare. But then slowly, something shifts. She knows exactly what you're going to say, when you'll text, what date you'll plan, how you'll respond when she pulls back. She starts to feel like she's in control. And that's when it flips. Because here's the truth most men never hear. When a woman feels like she can control you, she stops being attracted to you. She won't say it out loud. She'll still tell her friends how nice you are. She'll say she doesn't know what happened to the chemistry, but deep down, she's already checked out. She's already scanning the room, scrolling the apps, replaying that one conversation with the guy who didn't give her everything right away. That guy wasn't rude, he wasn't disrespectful, but he had mystery. She couldn't read him like a script. And that unknown, that's what sparked something in her body she couldn't explain. Here's what you need to understand. Women crave certainty in your core, your sense of self, your direction, your emotional control. But they don't crave certainty in your behavior. If she can predict every move you make, she doesn't have to invest emotionally anymore. There's no tension, no excitement, no contrast. So how do you break that pattern? You stop being available on autopilot. You stop rushing to reply before she even finishes her message. You stop showing up every time she snaps her fingers. You stay grounded but unpredictable, consistent in who you are, but not in how you give her everything. This doesn't mean playing games. It means living a life so full, so locked in on your own purpose that your time, your energy, your attention, they're valuable. You're not trying to create mystery just for the sake of it. You are the mystery because your world doesn't orbit around her emotions. One day, you take her to that hidden jazz bar she didn't even know existed. The next, you disappear for a weekend because you've got business to handle. No explanation needed. You don't announce it, you do it. That contrast of presence and space, of connection and autonomy, keeps her tuned in. Because here's the secret. Unpredictability doesn't mean chaos. It means she has to keep earning access to your world, and that access isn't guaranteed. It's based on how she shows up, how she treats you, how she respects your mission. You become the challenge, not the puzzle she solved a month ago. In today's world where so many men hand over their time, their heart, their power before a woman has even invested, being the challenge isn't arrogance, it's protection. Let her work a little. Let her wonder what's on your mind. Let her sit in that space between messages, not because you're playing cold, but because you're not obsessed, you're focused. And that focus, that's what makes you irreplaceable. Because once she feels like she figured you out, she'll start looking for something, someone who makes her feel again, someone who creates tension, not drama, not conflict, but pull. And that pull doesn't come from chasing her, it comes from chasing something bigger than her and making her part of that ride when she earns it. So if you've been the guy who's always there, always ready, always explaining yourself, it's time to pivot. Start by taking your time back. Take your energy off, trying to win her attention, and put it back into building your edge. Learn something new. Say no more often. Show her and yourself that access to you isn't free. It's earned. And if that sounds harsh, remember, this isn't about manipulation. It's about value. Because when you're easy to replace, she will. But when you're a man she can't figure out, a man who moves with purpose and mystery, she doesn't just chase you, she keeps chasing you. Drop this in the comments if you're ready to stop being predictable. I'm not easy to read and never easy to replace. Let them wonder. You're not here to entertain, you're here to lead. Her love fades when you lose your frame. Let's strip this all the way down. You can be successful, attractive, generous, loyal, all the boxes checked. But the second you lose your frame, the foundation underneath, all of that starts to crack, and she feels it even before you do. What's frame? It's your emotional posture, your inner stability. It's the sense that you lead your life, not her emotions, not the environment, not your insecurities. Frame is what tells the world, this is who I am, this is where I'm going, and nothing moves me off my path without my permission. Now here's the part most men miss. Women don't test your frame because they hate you. They test it because they need to feel it. If she feels like her moods throw you off, if she sees you backpedaling every time she gets upset, if she notices you shifting your values just to avoid tension or keep the peace, she might not say it, but her respect quietly dissolves. And when respect fades, love isn't far behind. See, a woman's love doesn't die in the big moments. It erodes in the small ones. Each time she sees you hesitate, apologize for being a man, or defer to her emotional state instead of standing in your truth. It's death by 1,000 cuts. And by the time you notice, it's already too late. You think you are being kind, compassionate, cooperative, but in her mind, you became malleable, bendable, and ultimately forgettable. Why? Because femininity craves strength, and strength isn't domination, it's groundedness. The man who keeps his spine when the room gets loud, the man who can hold space for her storm without becoming the storm. This is what holding frame looks like. She brings drama, you bring calm. She pulls away, you don't chase, you observe. She questions you, you listen but don't defend. You don't need to be right, you need to be rooted. Now don't twist this. Holding your frame doesn't mean ignoring her needs or steamrolling the relationship. It means you're not reactive. You don't abandon who you are just to secure her approval. Because that's the trap most guys fall into. They think love means constant sacrifice, constant adjustment. But when you shift too much, when you give up your edge to accommodate her every mood, you stop being the man she was drawn to in the first place. She loved you for your gravity, not your flexibility. And the more you contort, the more she feels the burden of leading, of being the one who has to steer the relationship. And trust me, she doesn't want that job. She might say she wants control, but what she really wants is a man who can't be controlled. That's why frame is so powerful, because when you hold it, you become her anchor, not her puppet. And no matter how much chaos she brings, because yes, emotional waves will come, she always knows where to find center. That center is you. But if you lose that center, if you make her your purpose instead of pursuing your actual purpose, she'll feel the shift. She'll start to question you, not because she wants to leave, but because something's missing. The polarity, the tension, the man. So if you've been wondering why things changed, why the affection cooled, why the conversations got shorter, why the fire faded, it might not be what you did. It might be what you stopped being. And it's not too late to reclaim it. You don't get your frame back by yelling, overcompensating, or demanding respect. You get it back by stepping back into your mission, by checking your boundaries, by remembering you are the center of your world, not her, not the relationship, not the outcome. When you lead from that place, everything else recalibrates, including her desire. So keep your frame even when she pushes, especially when she pulls. That's when it matters most, because the moment you give it up is the moment she starts to forget why she fell for you in the first place. You made it to the end, and that already sets you apart from most men, because most guys, they don't want the truth, they want comfort. They want to keep chasing, fixing, pleasing, while wondering why nothing sticks. But not you. You watch this because some part of you knows playing it safe doesn't win her heart. It costs you your power. So now the question is, what are you going to do with what you've heard? Are you going to keep overgiving, keep reacting, keep waiting for her to validate your worth? Or are you finally going to flip the script and reclaim the role you were meant to lead? Remember, it's not about controlling women. It's about controlling yourself, your mindset, your energy, your presence, because when you do that, everything shifts, including how she sees you. Now, before you click away, do one more thing for yourself. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a moment that challenges you, sharpens you, and reminds you who the hell you are. And if you're ready to go deeper, to get exclusive videos, behind-the-scenes breakdowns, and one-on-one content that YouTube can't always show, join the membership. You'll be walking beside men who get it, who live it, who don't fold when things get hard. And lastly, drop a comment below with just 3 words. I hold frame. Say it, own it. Show that you're not just watching, you're evolving. Because men like you, we don't just survive modern dating, we dominate it.